Great sages of history have been ill-served in the preservation of their wisdom. The best of these saints and savants, ancient Hindu and Jewish holy men, the Buddha, Confucius, Socrates, Jesus Christ, the Prophet Muhammad, left few significant writings. Their truths were unfolded in profound discourses and sagacious dialogues, oral expositions transmitted to us in incomplete renderings. Thus, only some of the verities are known. Many have been lost. Those who seek the complete scheme as originally presented have to depend on unreliable intermediaries such as faith, interpretation, interpolation, and reconstruction. As we move closer to our time, this problem is inverted. Knowledge overtakes wisdom and culture surrenders to technology. Recordings are comprehensive, but what is recorded is often of lesser value. There is, it seems, a shortage of authentic sages. By the numbers, there are plenty who purvey wisdom and pseudo-wisdom, teachers claiming to possess and provide transcendent insights. However, very few of them survive the tests that surely define a real spiritual pathfinder: the ability to convey a message that is universal and liberating, non-discriminating and free of hatred, a message that is capable of disinterested enrichment of minds and lives, and is also within the understanding of everyone. By any or all of these yardsticks, J. Krishnamurti was truly a modern master. Krishnamurti's entire life was focused on realizing and explaining the human quest. For 6 decades, until his death in 1986 at the age of 90, he traveled the world bringing his thoughts to those who would listen. Millions did. His popularity sometimes fluctuated, but Krishnamurti persisted in his efforts to set man absolutely, unconditionally free. Toward the end of his life, new generations, children of our technotronic age, rediscovered Krishnamurti. In an era of hot shots and holy rollers, razzle-dazzle religion and pulpit rap, he retained the aura of an old-fashioned prophet. Philosophic fads came and went. Krishnamurti endured. There are 2 reasons for this apparent timelessness. The most obvious is, of course, the personality of Krishnamurti. His public persona radiated a kind of undemonstrative charisma, the attraction of luminous restraint. Add to this a speaking manner and tone that could evoke a personal intimacy in the midst of even the largest audiences. It is not surprising that the writer Aldous Huxley, no slouch when it came to critical observation, declaimed, "It was like listening to a discourse of the Buddha, such power, such intrinsic authority. Yet, in the end, personality alone is an unsatisfactory explanation." Many who did not see or hear Krishnamurti were and still are drawn to his thoughts. So, to appreciate the appeal, we must go to the philosophic source, the ideas he articulated and their main themes. A careful examination of this body of work will reveal both consistency and changes. While certain central concepts remain fundamental, Krishnamurti did not hesitate to adapt and evolve to new historical circumstances and spiritual quests. Again and again, Krishnamurti declared that people do not need guidance, they need awakening. This high confidence in human potential was rooted in the belief that each individual has no limit on development, if he can eschew the cultural barnacles that load his being. A theory based on another man's experience in matters of the psyche or of an inward life has no meaning at all. We have to let it go completely because we have to stand alone. With this denial of the transferability of experience and the rejection of all spiritual guidance, including his own, Krishnamurti breaks with most world religions, all of which have spiritual paradigms and instructors whose examples we can emulate. It was not his purpose to attack other faiths, but he frequently warns against the misleading power of religions, institutions, and rituals, and above all, the divisiveness of sectarianism. As the years passed, Krishnamurti's philosophic and intellectual membranes expanded beyond his core themes. Increasingly, we see him addressing the evils of civil and religious power, the futility of existing social structures, the inertia of conformity, and the failure of temporizing reform. By the mid-1950s, Krishnamurti had developed notions about education, human relations, and communications that are not found in his earlier discourses. The teacher was also learning, not only answering the questions of others but also extending his own questions. Yet, the range of his expositions grows to embrace a number of new concerns: nationalism, war, ecological despoliation, unemployment, and hunger. With an almost contemporary sensitivity, social issues that were once on the periphery of his perceptions come closer to center stage. references to the significance of meditation become more frequent. A note of impatience and urgency begins to surface. Krishnamurti senses the peril of the times and the compelling demand for action. As if to respond in style as well as substance, his talks become more focused and his dialogues less elliptical. And yet, the essential message is unchanged. When one sees life as it is, when one sees oneself as one is, only from there can one move ahead. Of all the sages and significant spiritual figures of modern times, Krishnamurti has had the longest exposure, about 65 years on the stage of eminence. Yet, it is difficult to assess his historical stature. He is too close to us, and it is too early to know the full effect of his teachings. After all, for several decades subsequent to his crucifixion, there was little sign that Jesus Christ would make a major mark on history. At the moment of their death, and for quite some time after, who could have predicted the long-term influence of the Buddha, Confucius, or even Karl Marx? If Krishnamurti's ideas become more widely accepted in the future, it will be because they resonate with the yearnings of people, because they speak intently to individuals disillusioned with all-knowing and socially transforming macro-ideologies. Should this outcome take place, it will be because Krishnamurti's discourses resonate across boundaries of time and place. His voice is silent, but its message never ceases to speak.